Two travellers walked through a dense forest, sharing a road but little else. One boasted of survival skills, agile and quick-witted. The other, cautious and thoughtful, preferred silence. The forest grew darker as they journeyed deeper. An ominous presence settled around them, heavy and foreboding. Suddenly, a massive bear emerged from the thicket. Its eyes were fixed on the two travellers, menacing and intense. Panic seized the boastful traveller instantly. Without a word, he scrambled up the nearest tree. He abandoned his fellow traveller to face the beast alone. The cautious traveller knew he couldn't outrun the bear. He remembered an old tale about bears and the dead. He fell to the ground, feigning death convincingly. His body went limp, mimicking lifelessness. The bear lumbered closer, a shadow falling over him. The boastful traveller watched from above, heart pounding. The bear sniffed the motionless traveller intently. The traveller held his breath, trying to remain still. His heart pounded in his chest, a frantic rhythm. Each second felt like an eternity, stretched and thin. The bear circled him, sniffing and pawing gently. The traveller focused on staying completely still. He imagined himself as a stone, cold and unyielding. The bear paused, its breath warm on his face. The boastful traveller gripped the tree branch tightly. He watched with a mix of fear and morbid curiosity. The bear seemed to lose interest, its gaze drifting. It grunted softly, a low rumble in its chest. The traveller remained motionless, unwavering in his act. The bear took a step back, then another, and another. It turned slowly, its massive form silhouetted. The boastful traveller let out a silent sigh of relief. The bear lumbered away into the undergrowth slowly. Its dark fur disappeared into the shadows of the tree. The forest was silent once more, save for rustling leaves. The cautious traveller remained on the ground, unmoving. He waited a few more moments, ensuring the bear was gone. The boastful traveller began to descend from the tree. His bravado returned with the bear's departure quickly. He jumped down, landing with a thud on the forest floor. He approached his companion with feigned concern. "Are you all right?" he asked, his voice laced with false worry. The cautious traveller slowly sat up, brushing off leaves. He looked at his companion with a knowing gaze. The boastful traveller tried to meet his eyes, failing. He asked, "What did the bear whisper in your ear?" His question was filled with nervous anticipation. The cautious traveller paused, choosing his words carefully. He looked directly at the boastful traveller. The air was thick with unspoken judgment and disappointment. He took a deep breath before answering slowly. The boastful traveller fidgeted, awaiting the reply. The forest held its breath, listening intently. The cautious traveller spoke, his voice calm and steady. His words cut through the silence like a sharp blade. The boastful traveller's face fell, shame washing over him. His bravado vanished, replaced by guilt and regret. He knew he had been exposed, his true nature revealed. The forest seemed to judge him, silent and unforgiving. The cautious traveller stood up, ready to continue the journey. The bear loomed over the prone traveller, a shadow falling across his face. Close up on the traveller's tightly shut eyes, beads of sweat forming. The bear's wet nose nudged the traveller's ear, testing for any sign of life. The traveller held his breath, his body rigid with fear. The bear sniffed again, a deep, guttural sound rumbling in its chest. A leaf trembled as it fell near the traveller's still hand. The bear paused, its massive head cocked slightly. The forest was silent, save for the rustling of leaves. The bear seemed to lose interest, its gaze drifting away. It lumbered slowly, its huge form disappearing into the undergrowth. The boastful traveller peered down from the tree, relief washing over his face. He cautiously descended, his eyes still scanning for the bear. He approached his companion, a nervous smile on his face. "Are you all right?" he asked, feigning concern. The cautious traveller slowly sat up, brushing dirt from his clothes. He looked up at the boastful traveller, a knowing glint in his eye. "What did the bear whisper in your ear?" the boastful one inquired. Close up on the cautious traveller's face, a hint of amusement. "He gave me some valuable advice," the traveller replied calmly. "Oh, really? What was it?" the boastful one pressed. The cautious traveller stood up, facing his companion directly. "The bear advised me never to trust a friend." "Who abandons you in danger?" he finished, his voice firm. The boastful traveller's face fell, his smile vanishing. He looked down at the ground, shame creeping into his eyes, close up on his hands, clenching and unclenching nervously. He knew the truth in his companion's words. The forest seemed to grow quieter, amplifying his guilt. He finally looked up, meeting the gaze of the cautious traveller. A long silence hung between them, heavy with unspoken words. The boastful traveller hung his head, unable to meet his friend's eyes. He mumbled an apology, his voice barely audible. The cautious traveller sighed, his expression softening. He placed a hand on his companion's shoulder, a gesture of forgiveness. "It's all right," he said, "but remember this lesson." The boastful traveller nodded, understanding dawning in his eyes. He realized that true friendship was more than just words. It was about unwavering support in times of need. The two travellers stood together. The bond between them changed. The forest seemed less menacing, the air less heavy. They continued their journey, walking side by side. The boastful traveller was humbled, his arrogance replaced with humility. The cautious traveller was vindicated, his wisdom proven true. They walked in silence for a while, each lost in thought. The sun began to peek through the trees, casting dappled shadows. The forest seemed to welcome them. Its dangers lessened. They had faced adversity and emerged stronger. Their friendship, tested by fear, was now tempered by understanding. The road ahead was still long, but they would face it together. The boastful traveller looked at his companion with newfound respect. The cautious traveller smiled, a genuine expression of camaraderie. They continued on their way, their steps lighter, their hearts at peace. The forest watched them go, its secrets kept safe. The lesson of the bear would stay with them forever. True friendship is revealed in times of trouble. Actions speak louder than words, especially in the face of danger. The sun set, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. The two travellers walked on, their silhouettes against the horizon. They were no longer just companions, but true friends. Their journey had just begun, and they would face it as one.